to start with what everybody is talking about, because I don't think people necessarily understand what happened last week with the Make America Great Again hat. So everybody wants to hear from you, and I want to have a discussion about it. What drove you to that? What was your point? What are you trying to do with the message you're sending?
Well, it was really just my subconscious. It was a feeling I had, you know, like people were taught how to think, we're taught how to feel. We don't know how to think for ourselves. We don't know how to feel for ourselves. People say feel free, but they don't really want us to feel free. And I felt a freedom in, first of all, just doing something that everybody tells you not to do. Like, you can't do it for this reason. You can't do this for that reason. So, and, you know, I'm not coming up here to justify anything. It's, you know, you can't tell me nothing. I made the song, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me what I'm, you know, supposed to do. And also, it's like the idea of icons and representations. You know, I don't subscribe to icons. You take like the Nazi symbol. If you go to India, it's all over the place, but it doesn't represent that. It represents something different. So for me to wear that hat means I want to make America great in my own way.
So,
yeah.
so were you wearing the hat specifically to show support for Donald Trump?
Or was it a bigger statement about free thought?
What? I mean, I'm an artist, right? So to ask an artist, there's infinite reasons. There's infinite reasons to the why an artist does something. An artist doesn't need suggestions. An artist needs paintbrush and a canvas. So this opened up a conversation. I'm probably going to do the least good explanation of why. I'm just connected with the universe, period. You know, I'm just, and that's going to come off whack. Don't try to wacko-jacko me for saying that, because that's what the media is trying to do. They're attacking me with these smoke screens that I'm not going to fall for. Like, I see you got Daz Dillinger on here. So they put a media takeout that said the Crips have a hit on Kanye West, right? And I said, wow, this is really like the Malcolm X movie. They're really going to send some black people to kill me. And then when I read it, it said the Crips are going to beat Kanye up when they see him. And I was like, ah, that's so dope. They love me. That's like my brother. Your brother beat you up. Like, man, you getting out of line, bro. You tripping. I'm going to beat you up. I was like, ah, man, that's love, man. Daz loved me, and I love Daz. And
so you're not taking that seriously?
That's how you took it when you saw the video of Daz saying...
Oh, you can live through an ass whooping. You ain't gonna live through, you know, what I think that they're probably the idea is to beat sense into me. But, you know, when you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? You know, like, it's like we're mentally in prison. I like the word prison because slavery goes too direct to the idea of blacks. It's like slavery, Holocaust Jews, slavery is blacks. So prison is something that unites us as one race, blacks and whites being one race. That we're the human race. We're human beings and stuff. And eventually, you know.
Can I go back to something you just said? Because I don't want to let it pass. You said that slavery was around for 400 years. At a point, it becomes a choice?
Yeah, right now we're choosing to be enslaved. We're like, okay, so Ebro, I FaceTime him, and I'm there with Candace, right? And Ebro starts bringing up his version of facts, right? And Candace has facts. She's researched,
Candace
right?
Owens.
Candace Owens has facts. She's researched. And then Candace just pulls out her Jedi lightsaber and just, you know, chops Ebro's head off with facts. Then Ebro FaceTimes me the next day, and he's talking about the scoop and poop. He wants to talk about music now. I said, yo, you gonna have Candace on your show? He's like, nah, I'm not. She's mean. So you're gonna stifle her voice, Ebro. You're choosing to enslave people's minds. You're choosing to not let the truth be free.
Can I give you my translation of what happened last week and tell me if it's right?
Okay.
The way I see it, you don't necessarily embrace the views of Donald Trump as much as you want to show people that they shouldn't be intimidated from showing their true feelings, expressing themselves freely, and that the hat is a lightning rod for this kind of free thought that is lost in our society because people get bullied and shouted down and they're intimidated to the point where they have to shut up. Is that fair?
It's the mob. The mob tries to tell you what to think. The mob tries to make all blacks be Democrats for you know, food stamps and stuff. It's the mob. Like, and by the way, you're just talking to the emotion. You know, when you get Candace, ask her, she's going to drop you the facts.
We're going to have Candace on in a bit.
The kid, if you ask the kid, kid that stood in Tiananmen Square in front of the tank while he did it, he might not be able to explain that. But you can't diminish that moment if I can't give you the direct explanation.
But that kid had a righteous point of view that he really believed in, and that's why he was standing in front of the tank.
My righteous point of view is free thought. Now, if you want to ask me, I don't have extremely strong political opinions. You could talk to John Legend if you want some political. I've never been into politics. I just love Trump. That's my boy. Like, you know, it's like so many rappers. You'll look at a video of Snoop Dogg loving Trump, but then he get in the office and now they don't love him. Like, Trump is one of rap's favorite people, right?
But we talk about this, that before he was elected president, people in hip hop, it was an in thing to put Donald Trump in your rhyme somewhere. And
by the way, I am in hip hop, but I'm not just in hip hop. I'm a black person in the black community, but I'm not just that. I feel like one thing is people try to minimize me to artists, hip hop, black community. Yeah, I'm always gonna represent that, but I also represent the world. I represent not even the future, it's the now. We're in 2018. We're in the now, bro, you know what I mean? And I represent the now, and I represent what the possibilities of a new peaceful planet. We're at the beginning of it. You saw it in North Korea, but people denounce that. And you say, you said this thing, you put this whole thing, people love to say all, every, blah, blah, blah. It's not that. It's 100 sides to every story. So if you talk about Trump, yeah, there's a laundry list of things that I don't have in front of me that my friends would text me or write me emails and say, he did this. Some of them Obama did too, you know, but it wasn't, you know, as loud as, wow, the room is quiet in here. The room is quiet now. So
you have their attention.
Okay, and then there's positive things, right? And that never comes out. That's when they refer to fake news because it can be skewed and stuff. It's like the media and the liberals and the echo chamber and all that is having the most sore loss of all time. Like that, we're gonna just keep putting out, it's like torture porn. We're gonna keep showing you negative, when these are human beings. Even like with George Bush, people said, don't apologize. I'm like, wait a second, I just saw George Bush pushing George Bush Sr. in a wheelchair and he just lost his wife. Do you know how bad I would wanna go to George Bush and say, I'm sorry for hurting you. I was an artist, I was hurting when I went up to the telethon. I said something in the moment, but when I look at you as a dad and a family member, I'm sorry for hurting you. Think about Obama. Obama was the opioid to our pain. He pacified us, but he pissed the Nazis off even more. Hold on, bro. I'm on a wave right here. Okay, right. You talk every day. All right. This is with the love. Give me a hug. I don't mean, but come on.
It's all good.
Let genius be free. You know. So we're going to go and talk. I want to talk to the guys in Charlottesville on both sides. On both sides. Do you know what Obama would say? He'd be like, man, if you're this, blah, 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 I'm not a white supremacist. I don't support white supremacy. By the way, white supremacy is a redundant statement in America. Whites are supreme in America. That's what we taught. I went home and my mom and my dad, I mean, wow, they're all one. My wife said to my daughter, tell daddy what you learned in school. And she said, I learned that mama's white and I'm black. I said, damn, I wish I got the heads up. They said, no, we had to tell her because of Martin Luther King's birthday. But a white teacher told her that. So what does it mean to be black in America if a white teacher tells her that she's black? You might be Kanye West's daughter, but you black. My daughter was free. We start putting these ideals on people. That's why we are in a simulation. When you're 3 years old, 2 years old, you go and you hop up on a coffee table, and then your auntie that you don't really like comes to you and says, don't jump on that while you're playing. It's a coffee table. Now you're 3 years old. You don't care about coffee or a table. This went from being something that elevates you while you're playing to something that is a distraction, you know, I can't even find the exact word, obstruction to your joy. Now, by the time you're 30, by the time you're 40, by the time you're 50, how many coffee tables do you have in your life that you're trying to make everyone happy? People need to start worrying about themselves. If I go and grab some water out the fridge and I'm in the studio, I'm not asking nobody if they want water. I'm not assuming. If you want water, you saw me grab the water. You go grab your own water. We need to start being worried about ourselves and stop being worried about what other people think. And we have the right to free thought. And guess what? No, this is not the Malcolm X movie. No black person is finna touch Kanye West. We got love. Nobody finna touch me. Nobody.
Okay, so Kanye, that you say you have to love everybody, I just don't believe that, because I think there are people who are evil and people who want to hurt you. And I think you've got to distinguish people, and however you want to do it, but you've got to distinguish this group from this group or this person from this group.
Okay.
The people are not.
And you want to hear everybody's side, but people people are not
At some point, it's probably better just to have Harvey because I got too much to say, and when y'all both say stuff, y'all just gonna confuse my stream of thought.
Okay.
I love you, but you can sit here. That's cool. Now, I was gonna.
Thanks.
I was gonna stand on this chair right now, right? You know why I'm not standing on the chair right now? Do y'all remember an Oprah Winfrey moment? Mm-hmm. What do y'all remember, Oprah Winfrey? Who's that? Tom Cruise. That's it. He was in love, right? He jumped on the couch, and what happened? Now he's crazy. So because of that, I'm not gonna hop on my coffee table. How many people felt something that I said today? Raise a hand if you felt something that I said today. Do you feel that I'm feeling? Do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
Yes.
I don't think you're thinking anything. I think what you're doing right now is actually asking thought. And the reason why I feel like that is because, Kanye, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But there is fact and real world, real life consequence behind everything that you just said. And while you are making music and being an artist and living a life that you've earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Every day we have to walk into that truth while you choose to say things that, to be honest with you, dog, are nonsensical. You want to think freely? That's fine. I'll combat your free thought with my free thought because mine is grounded in a reality that I've been given and a reality that I'm going to change, but I'm not going to do it by pretending that the enemies are on the same team as me. And frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real. That's the way I feel. Stand on all the coffee tables you want to stand on, say whatever you want to say, but don't throw a stone, then hide your hand like the rest of us are just gonna swallow it. Yay, be yay, I'm off it, forever. Do you, but remember, the life that I live is as a real person, an actual person.
Now the thing is, he said grounded in reality. This reality has been forced upon us. It is a choice. Just like when I said slavery is a choice. The reality, we can make our own reality. We can talk about history, but not too long. We need to talk about our now because we can fix and start loving each other now. I say we have no enemies. We don't have enemies. Black people have a tendency to focus and march when a white person kills a black person or wears a hat. But when it's 700 kids being killed in Chicago, it's okay. It's okay for blacks to kill blacks. But if it's a white thing...
Wait, saying that's okay.
There's been more focus and more marches
that is a lie.
about
don't
whites killing blacks than kids in Chicago killing each other.
That's a lie. There are black people working... There
are no marches.
90% of black people getting killed are killed by other black people.
No, that's a fact. But that is a fact.
Black crime is a fact.
But there are black people...
Okay, wait a second. Now this is a problem. We have to... You're too far. You have to be closer to me.
I'm here right now. There are black people working every single day.
Don't scream because it will make us look crazy.
I don't care how we look in front of this. You talk as a... Come on.
No, when you scream and you don't talk, it doesn't look right.
Let me just say something.
No, I think he might want to fight me, but I want to give him a hug.
Kanye, let's finish conversation and then we'll...
I love you and I want to give you a hug. I feel like you want to fight me right now, but I love you.
I don't fight with my fist, man. I've been through that. This is what I'm saying.
So if I come over there, you're not going to fight me?
No, I'm not going to hit Kanye West and TMZ. Bro, you gotta be responsible, man.
Bro, I'm sorry I hurt you.
You gotta be responsible.
I'm sorry I hurt you, bro.
Your voice is too big. You gotta
I'm sorry I hurt you, bro. I love you, bro. I'm sorry I hurt you with my words, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I love you, bro.
Responsible, man.
Bro,
you gotta be responsible.
I didn't mean to say things that hurt you. I didn't mean to wear the hat out the blue and shock so many people and not give them a way out of the pain. I understand that gave them pain, that made them see pain. But guess what? When I went into the hospital. We're now in the hospital. TMZ is the hospital to fix the world. Obama.
Bro?
Yeah.
That's not true. Listen, first of all, calmly.
What's your name, though?
It's not true.
I'm sorry for disappointing you, Van.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
Calmly.
Yeah.
What you said up there a second ago, the statistic on black on black violence is true. What they don't tell you is there are people dedicating their lives to working throughout the problems of black people. There are black people every day, boots on the ground. They're all over the place that are working towards this. Like every single day, people are trying to fix this problem. The narrative that black people don't care about black lives until a white person takes them is false. That is not true. But the problem is the people that are doing this work in communities every day, guys all over the place, they don't get the type of reverence, they don't get the type of shine, they don't get the type of light spotted on them. What I'm trying to say is while we're having all of these conversations about stuff that gets covered on the news, who's gonna talk about what doesn't get covered on the news?
Me, hello.
Like to me, for me, for a lot of years, the dude that inspired me to be more than what I was in Baton Rouge, that was you. Ask everybody in this room for years, ask everybody in here, how many times we've had a Kanye West story and I've stood there the only person to defend Kanye West because of what you meant to me, and then after that, you slapped me in my face by getting next to people who mean me harm and who don't even care about the fact, about being honest about the fact that they mean me harm.
I think that we have to get next to everyone. If we don't like Trump, we have to talk to them. We have to talk because Trump is a human being also, and he's in a very powerful position, and he's doing a lot of things to actually help business owners be able to go past all these fake laws and rules and things. I mean, Candace can give you the facts better than that. But we need to speak to people. Einstein says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So we keep on saying, I hate you, you. How are we going to get a different result out of hate? Why don't we just try love? Why don't we just try love? Why can't it be okay for an influential rapper in the black community to go up to the president and talk to him about how we can make a change one by one? We have the resources for a peaceful world. I believe that Kim Jong-un didn't believe that Obama was crazy enough to come at him. You know, sometimes you need some crazy to change something. Steve Jobs is crazy. Now we all on Steve Jobs' phones. They say Trump's crazy. They say I'm crazy. But I'm here to show love, and we're going to make it through. I know I disappointed you today, brother, and I know I disappointed the black community when I wore the hat, and I'm sorry for disappointing you. But like I just told J. Cole on the phone right now, it's a bigger plan, and I'm just doing what the universe told me. Now, I'm not drugged the out, but I did pop a 911 yesterday before I got here to make sure I didn't prove everybody right. So I do think that pharmaceuticals can be extremely helpful. Everything in moderation. I was addicted to opioids. I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all called Rob at the wedding and made him fly home before me and Kim got married. I didn't want y'all to call me fat, so I got liposuction, right? And they gave me opioids, right? And I started taking 2 of them and then driving to work on the opioids, right?
About Kanye West. He's an extraordinary maverick character. He's been on this tweet storm for a week now. Last night enraged a lot of people, a lot of African Americans, by saying slavery for 400 years was a choice. What did you feel when you heard about that?
That broke my heart because I thought about my grandma, who was born in 1920, and her connection with her mom, who raised her, who was born in the late 1800s. And my grandmother's grandma, who was a slave. And when you're a slave, you're owned. You don't choose if you're owned. When you're a slave, you're deprived of education. That's not choice, that's by force. So, you know, I understand the need to have free thought, but if your thoughts aren't researched, that is just going to hurt those that are still in conditions where it's not choice that when they go down the street, there's a liquor store and fast food restaurants, and your education is not being funded the same way it is in Calabasas. When governments are stifle and limit the amount of money that goes to Chicago, Watts, Bronx, Fifth Ward, Mississippi, East Los Angeles, where I'm from, right? I know because I've contributed to the ghetto that I come from, where I teach our kids robotics, computer science. If the zoning, you know, added up to the point where our kids are getting a proper, you know, investment for their education, I wouldn't have to raise money, use my own money for robotics programs and college preparation programs. So that statement was one of the most ignorant statements that anybody that came from the hood could ever say about their ancestors, that slavery is a choice. What are you talking about?
You know Kanye.
Yeah, but that's not Kanye.
What is
do you
it?
mean?
What's he up to? What's he doing?
I don't know. To me, that's a different person that's saying that. And I hope it's not to raise awareness so you could sell a record and some shoes, because that would be the worst thing to do, to stir up this very touchy, race situation, and you be the benefactor from it.
I was addicted to opioids. I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all called Rob at the wedding and made him fly home before me and Kim got married. I didn't want y'all to call me fat, so I got liposuction, right? And they gave me opioids, right? And I started taking 2 of them and then driving to work on the opioids, right?
I just asked you. I just asked you, was the Almoravid dynasty and the Almohad dynasty coming out of Senegal, coming out of West Africa, going up into Spain, conquering, disposing of the dynasties that were there, conquering and retaking the caliphate or retaking Islam from a West African perspective in Spain? Are you saying that they were influenced by Marrakesh, by white Arabs when they went up in fucking Spain and killed them? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that Abdullah Yassin
Stop saying all these names. Just say yes or no, bro.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking
Why
to you.
Why you disrespecting me?
Why you cursing at me? I'm disrespecting you.
You a question and
you cursing at me, and I'm disrespecting you.
Yelling at me, Reggie.
See that? You see that? You start cursing at me. You can't handle it. See, that's the whole point.
I can't handle it.
No. See, that's why. No. See, this is what you want to do, right? You want to do this. You try to want to do this with force, right? I'm an elder. I may not be built with that, right? But I can't mention scholarship. You curse at me. You curse at me, and then.
Yell in my face like I'm some little nigga though. I'm not going
SANETER. He cursing me and then he do a crime. You do a crime and then you turn around. I'm supposed to be soft.
I yelled at
you go fuck. You know how many curses you done uttered? I didn't utter no one curse to you. Yes. Yes. Or even in anger. Even in anger, man.
But you can't be yelling in my face.
You cursed at me.
I'm not yelling in your face. I'm not.
We don't have to talk by cursing. This is an aggressive move.
That's it. We gotta cut it. That's like if Seti do a video.
This is aggressive. Hold on, man. You trying to be slick?
No.
You trying to be slick?
Profanity, what's the problem?
I talked to Seti about that. We had big conversations.
No more blackface. 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 No more blackface.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
The city of flowers, the city of romance, and the best shopping city in the Netherlands, Haarlem.
Haarlem is the capital of the province Noord-Holland. This beautiful city, situated next to the Spaarne River, has over 150,000 inhabitants. Haarlem has a lot to offer. World-class museums, the finest restaurants, trendy cafes, and many possibilities for sightseeing. Many possibilities for sightseeing. Many possibilities for sightseeing.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
Why did you decide to call your party Article 1?
Article 1 is the first article of our Dutch constitution, and to me it says a couple of things. It says literally that all who are in the Netherlands are equal under the law. This is not true in fact, in daily life. It also says that discrimination based on anything from race, gender, sexual preference and such is prohibited. And this is also not being lived on a daily basis, obviously between individuals, but more dangerously and more importantly, by the lawmakers and by government. We see a rise of unconstitutional laws being presented. We see a rise of unconstitutional ideas being normalized. So we feel that the first article of our constitution is under pressure, it's in danger, and we're here to defend it. I think the Dutch have always been proud of the idea that they're incapable of racism, they're incapable of intolerance. However, as soon as you bring up an issue like blackface, so they feel attacked. Are you saying that we're racist because we have a blackface character that we celebrate?
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
No Phil! No justice! No peace!
Bijna gebroken. Bijna gebroken. Fuck you! Dit is racisme, vriend. Shit.
Hij wordt achterin als beetje zingen!
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
Niet normaal. Het is een blijven kinderfeest. Schaamst u dich niet hoor? Zo, die zo op dat rood gezicht in de mappen. En dicht dan zwarte. En dicht dan zwarte. 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 Echt waar? Moest naar een kliniek gaan, niet als ze niet bleken. Achterlijk geval. Hoor. Wat Nederlander? Jij Nederlander? Dat zou je mogen willen, ja. Ga terug naar je eigen land. 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 Ga terug naar je eigen land.
Dat is onze boodschap. Er is niks positiefs aan racisme.
Dus alle kleine kindjes zijn racisten. Omdat ze zwarte pieten hebben willen. Dus mijn kleinkinderen, 5 stuks, zijn racisten. Staat er nergens op, hè. Terwijl ik er 2 heb, en die zijn half zwart, half wit. Slaat toch nergens op, hè. Dat zou niet. Nee, dat slaat nergens op. Dat slaat nergens op. Dus mijn moeder was het. Ja,
wij mogen niet het racisme benoemen.
Dus u moet tegen de begunningsvoorwaarden. Dan die nou de gelegenheid om de borden af te geven.
Wanneer van het protest gebeurt. Mijn moeder was ook niet. Dan kun je een aanklacht. Dat laat je maar goed.
Dat ze zwarte piet willen laten. Wat niet heel normaal is. Sophie. Heb je goed gedaan?
Dit is uit het zicht van alle fucking kinderen. Je moet verwachten met de fucking.
Hey, er moest er geen podium geven. Er moest er geen podium geven. Nee, de discussie dan. Kom, aan de kant van dat zo. Nee, wacht, doe rustig. Je moet gewoon podium. Kom. Kom dan helemaal.
Wachtklappen.
Hé, gewoon onder met de kant.
Weg hier! Hey,
No more blackface! No more blackface!
Beledigen, discrimineren, dehumaniseren.
No more blackface! No more blackface! No more blackface! No more blackface!
Wij komen hier naartoe naar de gemeente Amsterdam. Dankjewel.
The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history. The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history.
I'm questioning the validity of the information as they have related it to be the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I say, and I will continue to say, that Taj Tariq does not teach Moorish science as taught by Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
How y'all brothers doing, man? What's your name?
My name is Mustafa Akulu.
Where you from, Mustafa Akulu?
Morocco. I'm from, yeah.
We were just having a conversation off camera, man, and you was explaining it to us about the Moors of Morocco. I'd like for you to elaborate a little more on that to Black News 102.
All right, as far as Moroccan history is concerned, the Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history. The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history. The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history. They played a great role in Moroccan history. They have been used to build important cities, important empire cities in Morocco, like Fez, Meknes, Marrakesh. All right. And then they were kind of there was this kind of slave trade, and also Morocco was engaged even in the triangle, in the what is called in history the triangle slave trade, like exporting. Morocco was actually engaged in exporting slaves from Africa to America.
You're talking about black people. These are black Moors.
That's right. Yeah.
Bringing in African slaves. Wow.
Yeah, that's
so you said that the history of the Moors in Morocco, they were slaves. He's saying that the history of the Moors in Morocco were slaves, though. So
no, he said the Moors was bringing in African slaves.
No, I heard that part, but in the beginning you said that they were slaves and they built a lot of stuff, right?
Yes.
Who enslaved those people?
For example, I'll give you an example. As far as with my limited knowledge, of course, I've read that in Meknes, the Sultan, and before he was called the Sultan.
Moulay Ismail?
The Sultan named Moulay Ismail, yes.
Moulay Ismail.
He gathered all many slaves from sub-Saharan and the slaves in Morocco. So he gathered them and he castrated them because he had so many wives. So he was afraid that they would have because he had what we call harem. So
was he an Arab? Was Moulay Ismail Arab that enslaved the African Moors? So he was not a Moor. He was actually an Arab that invaded the country and enslaved the Moors.
Yes,
so the Moors actually in Morocco were the slaves.
Yes. The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history. So, all right, as far as Moroccan history is concerned, we have to mention what we call Berbers. Okay, yes, Berbers are the natives of North Africa, all the way from Canary Islands to the borders between Libya and Siwa. Okay, and North Africa has always been an intersection of different cultures, and Berbers now, if you study the Berbers as a race, they are diverse. You have white Berbers, and you have brown Berbers, and you have black Berbers. The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history. Okay, the nomads and all that stuff. So anyway, let me just finish this when it comes to Moulay Ismail and the building of empire cities in Morocco. So he got not all, but many slaves, and then he used them to build the city. If you go now to Meknes, you'll find great walls, okay? Long, great walls surrounded, the city is surrounded with great walls. And these walls, as far as the history is concerned, were built by the slaves that were brought in parts in different parts of Morocco. And yes, of course.
So what you're saying is he actually came in and used the indigenous people of those lands as slaves. Yeah. So then the question I would have to ask is, you being from Morocco, the Moors that was in Spain, were those African slaves, or was those African Moors, or were those the more mixed Moors or Arabs that went up into Spain?
Okay. As far as Spain is concerned, the Moors that were there were mixed Moors, so both black and brown Berbers and Arabs, so and Jews as well, because they were expelled from Spain at a certain, I guess in the, what century was that?
You say they were expelled from Spain?
Yeah, yes, they were chased out. So yes, in the 15th century, and then but anyway, the Moroccan regimes were also engaged in this kind of slave trade and slave exercise, if you want. The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history. So that's
And the reason why I was asking that on Black News 102, I just wanted to know, you being from Morocco, the indigenous African Moroccans on that continent, the Africans there, those were the ones predominantly that were enslaved by other groups coming into Morocco, and they enslaved the people. So this is a person from Morocco, this is a brother from Morocco, coming to Black News 102 saying that the so-called African Moors in Morocco were the slaves.
Yes.
They were the ones building it as slaves by other intruders coming in and taking over the country. Am I wrong or right?
Yes, that's right. The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history.
Now, let me ask you the last question.
Yeah.
What does the word Moor means?
Okay, Moor, here you cannot kind of, it's a really complicated, it's a very complicated concept. It's a concept, and it is very complicated because you have Spanish Moors and you have the Moors in Morocco as well, and now the Mauritanians, okay, which are part of, which are the people of.
Yeah, next, don't go nowhere.
Yeah,
all right, what did you say? It means black?
It means not actually. It means a slave. It means a slave. Yes.
So the word Moor means slave.
Yes, that's right. The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history. The Moors, we call them slaves. Slaves have always been part of Moroccan history.
I just asked you, was the Almoravid dynasty and the Almohad dynasty coming out of Senegal, coming out of West Africa, going up into Spain, conquering, disposing of the dynasties that were there, conquering and retaking the caliphate or retaking Islam from a West African perspective in Spain. Are you saying that they were influenced by Marrakesh, by white Arabs, when they went up in fucking Spain and killed them? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that Abdullah Yassin
Stop saying all these names. Just say yes or no, bro.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
Why you disrespecting me?
Why you cursing at me? I'm disrespecting you.
You a question and
you cursing at me, and I'm disrespecting you.
Yelling at me, Reggie.
See that? You see that? You start cursing at me. You can't handle it. See, that's the whole point.
Can't handle it.
No. See, that's why. No. See, this is what you want to do, right? You want to do this. You try to want to do this with force, right? I'm an elder. I may not be built with that, right? But I can't mention scholarship. You curse at me. You curse at me, and then.
You can't yell at my face like I'm some little nigga, though. I'm not going to.
He cursed at me, and then he do a crime. You do a crime, and then you turn around. I'm supposed to be soft.
I yelled at.
You go fuck. You know how many curses you done uttered? I didn't already know what cursed you. Yes. Yes. Or even in anger. Even in anger, man.
But you can't be yelling in my face.
You cursed at me.
I'm not yelling in your face. I'm not.
We don't have to talk by cursing. This is an aggressive move.
That's it. We gotta cut
it.
That's like if
do a video.
This is aggressive.
Hold on, man.
So you trying to be slick? You trying to be slick?
Profanity, what's the problem?
I talked to Seti about that. We had big conversations.
No more blackface! No more blackface!
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
No more blackface! No more blackface! No more blackface! No more blackface!
I was addicted to opioids. I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all called Rob at the wedding and made him fly home before me and Kim got married. I didn't want y'all to call me fat, so I got liposuction, right? And they gave me opioids, right? And I started taking 2 of them and then driving to work on the opioids, right?
I'm not no fucking African, number one. That's SANETER talking. That's SANETER. Yeah, this SANETER talking. I'm not no fucking. None of you niggas know nothing about Africa. Y'all can claim Africa all you want. Them niggas look at y'all like a piece of shit. So y'all keep on saying we African. What the fuck does that mean? Ain't no such thing as I'm African. Fuck Africa.
Yeah. What does the word Moor means?
It means a slave. Yes.
So the word Moor means slave.
Yes, that's right.